Hi, welcome to the briefing for the Wakefield Junior Triathlon Club Duathlon. We're going to go through the run, T1, the bike, T2 and the second run. And the idea of this is to encourage your kids to have a great time on Sunday and to be able to see some of the course as we go around and film it. The start point of the race is going to be approximately here. The car park is there where you will be parked and your bikes will be. The transition is on your left. The start point is here. It's very important that you're here at least 10 minutes prior to your race start. Run 1. Run 1 is held on this grass surface here. We have two different size laps. We have a small lap and a large lap. Run 1 will only incorporate the large lap. It's on a grass surface which has been cut. Very even ground really. Multiple laps for the elder kids. The younger kids only do one lap. Okay? As you come round the lap, you will collect a band. If you are doing, for example, 3 laps, you will collect 2 bands. You'll do 1 lap, collect a band, do another lap, collect a band. The next lap, you run into transition 1. When you've completed your first run, you will enter transition approximately here. It'll be well marked, run in. You'll come into transition, be really careful here because other people will be taking their bikes off the racking. If you're one of the younger kids and quite small and you've got one of these big heavy mountain bikes, we will have marshals here to assist you taking your bikes off the racking. It's important before you do that you have your helmet on and fastened. Not just on, but it has to be fastened. You are then allowed to touch your bike, take it off the racking, and you will then go in this direction out of bike exit, which will also be clearly marked. Okay, bike exit will be approximately here. You will come out, you will not be on your bike. At this point, it's imperative that you push your bike. You will push your bike, you are allowed to run with your bike. Here, approximately, will be the mount line. You must be over the line before you get on your bike. That is not halfway over the line, that's not 1 foot over the line, that's you and the bike all the way over the line. Then you are allowed to get on your bike. Ensure you're in the right gear. Here we have, which we think is an advantage to the guys from Wakefield because we get to practice here, we have quite a steep little climb straight out of transition. If you come out of transition and there are 6 people stood in front of you getting on their bikes and they're in the wrong gear, run past them. There is no rule that says you must get on your bike immediately after the mount line. The rule is you have to ride your bike at some point. So you can run to the top of the hill if you need to. This year, because we've moved the mount line, you probably don't need to do that. You have enough time to jump on your bike and climb up the hill. Okay. What's unique about our duathlon is that we're on an off-road track for a large amount of the course. What we have are tree stumps. If you've ever done the cyclocross here, which is one of the best cyclocrosses around in my opinion, we have tree stumps in a lot of areas. So just be careful of them. On the day these will be sprayed. They'll be sprayed orange so that you can see them, but they are all over. It's up to you to ride at a pace that you can manage to get over these. If you're on a road bike, this course is bone dry and I don't see it raining too much before the weekend. So there's no reason why you couldn't ride a road bike, but you just have to be a little bit careful on the corners. Okay, we're just after the start of the first lap of the bike. You come down a slight descent. Here you'll see there's a footpath going across. There are a number of footpaths on the course, but they will be all marshalled. We can't allow for people or dogs walking onto the course, even though it's taped off. So just be aware of that people are walking around. Through here you'll see there's some trees. Just be careful here, because if you hit them at speed, you'll know about it. Right, this is our famous descent. It's also used in the cyclocross at Wakefield as well. Down the hill, fairly quickly. You'll get up to 30 miles an hour here, you fast kids. At the bottom, there's a 180 degree corner. If it's wet, it gets slippy. At the moment, it's bone dry, and again, the grass has been cut. You will cycle very quickly across this field here. You'll come around the big oak tree. At this point, we have a curb. there will be a piece of timber on the floor or a ramp to allow you to enter Col de Thorns. If you don't know what Col means, ask your parents. Okay, as you can tell by my breathing, I'm a coach, not an athlete. The hill gets steeper towards the top. Make sure you're in the right gear. The pavement surface, the asphalt surface, is actually quite good, but there are a number of holes in there. The big ones will be marked in orange. What we have at the top of the hill, once you've come over the top and you start to descend into the college, is we have two pieces of street furniture which are buried. We can't do anything about them, so there will be a big cone at the front of both of these. Please do not ride over the cones, not even because you think it's funny, because if you go down one of these, there's a good chance you're going to end up on your helmet. You will then go into the college grounds through those gates, which will be open on Sunday. In the college grounds, there's a sharp right turn here, a 90-degree right. Just before it, there's a fairly big speed bump. Quite easy to get over, but it's still quite a large one. Straight after it, we have a 300-year-old gully grating here made out of cast iron, which is slightly elevated from the rest of the surface. If it's raining, that could be slippy, so be really careful here. From there, you will descend at speed down to the next corner. Okay, 30 or 40 metres after that last right turn, there's a 90-degree left turn. The issue with this one is what we call an adverse camber, which means that as you turn that way, the road is going away from you. It's really imperative that you do not do any undertaking on the top corner or the bottom corner. If you think you're good enough to go around the outside, not a problem. Do not go up the inside of somebody. Here you will go straight down these flags and then you will re-enter the course approximately there onto the grass. At the end of your bike lap, you will either be continuing to do another bike lap, which will be straight on there and back into where you left transition. Be aware that there might be some people leaving transition on your right. We doubt it very much because it's quite a long circuit, it's 1 kilometre long, but there could be somebody joining from your right hand side. Please be careful of that. Or you may be coming into transition. Be aware, you need to know how many laps you're doing. We will not be telling you how many laps you are doing, and we will not be telling you when to come into transition. At Home Firth last weekend, people were shouting out 1, 2, 3. You can do that very subtly. What you can't do is hold a number up, going number 1, number 2, number 3. This could be deemed as outside assistance. So now we're going to go into T2. The dismount line will be approximately here. The rule of the dismount line is you must get off your bike before the line. Not with one wheel over it, if you ever saw Johnny Brownlee in the Olympics. Not with 1 foot over it, as we saw at Home Firth last week. You dismount before the line. Off the bike, then you run into transition. Okay, when you get into transition, it's important, I've seen this before last year, people unfastening their helmets as they run towards their rack. Your bike must go back where you took it from, not somewhere else. It must be next to your number. If you decide to leave it somewhere because it's more convenient for you, you will be disqualified. So it has to go as close to where you were. If somebody else has put their bike where yours were, don't worry, we're in transition, we'll be able to check that. When you put your bike back, if you're a small child or not very strong, we will also be there to help you. We will make a judgment call on how much help you require. Once you've racked your bike and your hands are off the bike, you can then take your helmet off. Do not throw your helmet on the floor because your parents spent a lot of money on it. Put your helmet down, okay? Then we're going to be leaving for the run, out of the run exit. Right, I've done my first run, I've done the bike. I've wrapped my bike, I've taken my helmet off. I'm now leaving transition for my last run, or my second run. At this stage, 2 of the age groups will do small laps. You don't have to know where to go because the marshals will be able to direct you. We will have tape up. If you're doing a large lap, you do as before. If you're doing multiple laps, as before, you take a band. When you've got enough bands, which is clearly stated on all the documentation and will also be in registration, you will then finish. And you will finish here somewhere. We're going to bring you in over here while your runners will continue around the course. Okay, you know exactly what's going to happen during the race itself. There are just another few things that we have to explain to you and just get across in the briefing. The first one is that on the bike, we have a number of deaf athletes in all of our clubs. These athletes can't hear you, so when you go past them shouting on your left, on your right, they obviously can't hear you. So the way that we coach this in our club is the same way that I would coach skiing, which is that the person at the back, the person arriving towards the other athlete, has the responsibility to overtake safely and give lots of room. They may be deaf, but it also may be windy, so they can't hear you anyway, or they may be concentrating. So please don't come up behind somebody trying to bully them with on your left, on your right. Be nice to everybody. Okay, the other things, sun cream. Last year I got really burnt, which isn't that difficult because I do that all the time. So make sure you've got lots of sun cream. Stay hydrated. 5% loss in hydration can lead to 25% loss in performance. General safeguarding issue. If you get lost at any point during the day, because we hope you're having fun here as well, you just go to registration, you give them your name, or you find the nearest marshal. We will be clearly marked. That marshal will then take you through the next process. We have a process in place for that eventuality. The other thing is pacing. As a parent, this is basically for your parents. When you're running, you should not have your dad or your mum, if they could keep up with you, or a sibling on a bike going alongside you. That is classed as outside assistance. You are not allowed to pace your athlete. If we've got an 8-year-old kid who is in distress and they are walking or they're running slowly and they're not really going to make any difference to the overall results, then obviously we will make a judgment call. We do that when we do long distance events as well, but you're not allowed to pace them. Right, we've covered the race, we've covered safeguarding, we've covered pacing, we've covered being nice to your other athletes. The last thing that we have to cover is that we want you to come here and have a great race. We've put in a lot of effort to make sure that this race is safe, has been risk assessed, and most important for us, the only reason we do this is so that you can come along and have a fantastic day, and that's the most important thing. So please come along and have a great laugh. Thank you.